welcome to another video of mine. Today I'm going to be doing a talking video. I'm just going to be running through the top 16 breakdown for the European regional that happened over the weekend. Yes, you heard me correctly, a regional in Europe. They still happen, sometimes. Now it's the first of many. We've got some cool stuff coming up in Europe. Thankfully there's some events, official and non-official, with the Zenkai Showdown coming up in September. There was some store championships that happened as well, so it's starting to pick up again in terms of the amount of events going on, so I cannot complain. Well, I would love more events, but this is what we got. It's better than what it was, but it could be better. There's plenty of room, and hopefully, as speaking of Zenkai Showdown, organized by the Lookout, who also provided this graphic. I just took it from Facebook. It's on Instagram and stuff. They've posted it everywhere, so I'm just going to break it down. There's no point in really trying to make my own graphic, because all the information you need is right here. There's no deck lists. I haven't found any deck lists, so just in case you were coming here for deck lists, I ain't got nothing. All I got is this. So here's my thoughts on the current meta and the breakdown. So this is kind of standard, what you see most events. You've got all your top decks here. The only big shock really is the Raditz leader, the promo leader that came out. I think Insane Showdown was the promo for, I believe, and it didn't go anywhere. You occasionally see it do some stuff. As far as I'm aware, it's just a very degenerate hand rip strategy. There's nothing mind-blowing or crazy about it. It's just, my best guess is people just underestimated how degenerate the hand ripping can get, and kind of just let it do its thing. Both players finished pretty close to each other. I assume they must have had the same record and just had better tiebreakers. But overall, you know, fair play if you can find a deck that's being not talked about but can compete with the rest of them. Go for it. Degenerate hand rip strategy. It might be, I assume, is the way both players went. I can't imagine decks that different considering how they placed, but that's the only kind of shock. Overall, it's not the most exciting looking regional top 16, because obviously U7 wins. It's usually U7 with Trunks Vegeta or Gamma at the moment. First, second, and third. You can interchange those three. They swap places every event at the moment, and they're kind of, I think Trunks Vegeta and U7 are probably prime candidates to be hit on the ban list, just because they've pretty much been dominating the meta since they came out. And after the last ban list, I think Trunks Vegeta is probably the best deck of the format. Then in fourth place, really, it's kind of cool to see King Cold return to form. It's been one of the less degenerate green decks. It does some hand rip stuff, but it's not overwhelming on hand rip, and it's a crazy unique strategy. It relies on the field spells and swapping out your field spells, and then it tries to kill you with its Unison, either King Vegeta or the Modern Vegeta Unison. Overall, I've no problem with King Cold. It's pretty strong strategy, but it's pretty hard to get good at it. So overall, you're not going to be seeing King Cold dominating the meta. I took up 2 places in top 16, which is really cool to see. But green overall, which surprisingly I thought his son Cooler would be all over this, but which I think Cooler's a really strong deck, but surprisingly didn't make the top 16. I guess because it's quite a high ceiling, quite a high learning curve on it. A lot of people will pick it up, play for a bit, and probably drop it. For something like U7, which is a really easy learning curve, a very user-friendly, easy to kind of intro deck for the game, which is why I'm not sure if it'll be him. But then in 5th place is one of my favorite decks, and a deck I'm heavily considering picking up again going into Zenkai Showdown, dependent on the meta, of course. Depending on the ban list, the deck might get hit, you never know. Indirect hits really do tend to affect a lot of decks I like. But Age of Destruction, I'm really happy to see that still continuing to get get its head in the door and gone to the top 8, so that's always great to see. And then we see Gamma, U7, Gamma, Trunks Vegeta. The best decks, you're going to see that every event you go to. They're the best decks, the reason they're super powerful. Android 16, a deck you always see coming in and out. I haven't seen a 16 list since Ultimate Showdown. I haven't really looked at the deck, but I assume it must have got indirect support via that. So it's always, while there's green blue Android decks in the meta, it's always going to be 16 is always going to be in and out. Raditz, as I spoke about, it's a strong deck, but I assume it's just a heavy hand rip. Gamma again, Raditz. Android 21 managing to sneak in, similar to 16. I assume it must have got indirect support from Ultimate Squad, but I'm not even sure if it bothered too much. The strategy is solid, and its burning strategy will keep decks like the Red Bulma out of the top 16 because, well, I won't call it top 16, but it's a great counter to anything that's heavy control, because you're just waiting till like turn 7, turn 8 either. You can do your turning tide, but you're more than likely going to do your 17 health fighter and bring out your bad omens, burn your opponent for 2 life. If that's not enough to kill them, you know, you have enough hits. You have enough boys on the board to finish them. So that's, and then King Cold is again, which is really cool to see King Cold take up 2 spots. It's a solid green deck. There's actually a lot of green for our top 16, so it's pretty cool to see that color kind of back in. There's not an awful lot of yellow. I think every yellow player is just on Trunks Vegeta, and that's why I know. Of course, I don't want. I think most players kind of just hope this deck gets hit, because it's just a boring yellow strategy, but it's the best out there. So while it exists, all the yellow players are going to play Trunks Vegeta, and then they're going to experiment with the amount of great yellow leaders there are out there. So I think for the health of the game, I think going into Zenkai, obviously we'll have a lot more, or we'll probably power creep Trunks Vegeta with the Z battle cards, but and obviously older leaders get indirect support and stuff like that. So the meta will shift. Trunks Vegeta will hopefully be seen out, but every time Trunks and Vegeta are on a leader, it spells trouble. Vegex was just absolutely degenerate, and I think arguably tier 0 at some point. So maybe we be done with putting Vegeta and Trunks in the same room or on the same card together. It just spells nothing but trouble. But yeah, that is your top 16 breakdown. Congratulations. I don't have names, but congratulations to the U7 Trunks Vegeta and Gamma player, King Cold, and AOD and stuff. Congratulations to all these guys, really. Fantastic job, and have an awesome day. Goodbye.